Hey, what's going on, you guys? And if you guys don't mind liking this video, smashing subscription, and turning on post notification, it'll help with this YouTube algorithm, and I'll gladly appreciate it. The Bitcoin trade I was most proud of was when it was like a lot of people. The Bitcoin trade I was most proud of is when I got in early. You know, Bitcoin was trading at about $4,000 a coin. You know, and I got in, and then out of nowhere it jumped up to like 6, 7, 8. It just kept rising. So I got out of that trade about 14,000 per Bitcoin. So I was ecstatic. My investment went up like 4 or 5 fold, and when that happened, I couldn't think of any investment class that was gonna make me any more money than that. I didn't make a large amount of money, but I definitely was able to grow the amount of money I put in about 5 fold. So I think that was one of the best trades I've made. And then after that, I started paying more attention to the cryptocurrency market. I got in early through a tip via email. There was an email, me being like an investor or always looking at market news, I get these different emails, and that's why it's very important to check your emails, guys. But when I seen Bitcoin, it was a email that was sent out to me to pretty much do group economic investing in Bitcoin. So I just did my own research. I don't really like to invest in a group economic situation if I don't know exactly what it entails or what the underlying asset is. So I started doing my own research, and then I opened up a Coinbase account because that was a trading platform that gave investors an opportunity to invest in Bitcoin. So I opened that up and just put money into it, and that's how that happened. So Warren Buffett had always mentioned that you want to buy when everyone is fearful, and you want to sell when everyone's greedy. So by that same philosophy, that's what I did, and ended up not losing more money than I've invested, because there was like a FOMO. There was like a fear of missing out. Everyone was buying it up and then running the price up. So I'm like, whoa, no. At some point, this is gonna look like a bubble. So let me get my money out, and I'll be good with the profits I've already made, and I'll be good. Yes, that trade was one of the most. That trade was really the reason why I took an interest in Bitcoin, and I wanted to know what was like the technology behind it. I started doing a lot of research, and sure enough, I mean, it's been one of the asset classes that's being talked about in the financial markets recently for the past decade. It was the same trade actually. Ripple's a company where I feel is gonna do better than Bitcoin. And the reason why is because Ripple has a team that's associated with the government. So they actually talk with regulators, and they're working with regulators instead of it being some a company that's trying to be so decentralized that no one could I guess penetrate them or whatnot. But yeah, Ripple. I think Ripple is gonna exceed Bitcoin. The most frustrating trade I've made in crypto was Ripple. And the reason why is because I got in Ripple about 20 cents back in like 2017, and they haven't done anything in terms of price movement. And I gotta be very clear. I got an XRP. So XRP was actually the trade that's frustrating me. Ripple is just the company. XRP is the cryptocurrency. So I want to make that distinction very clear. Ripple, it has nothing to do with XRP, except that they hold most of XRP. So when I'm talking about Ripple, I'm talking about me holding the asset XRP, which is the digital currency. And that was frustrating because they haven't performed at all for the last 3 years. I am at this particular moment, I am down about 20% on my crypto trade, but that's a long-term investment. So I'm not hoping. I know Ripple's gonna do really well. We're just waiting for more clarity. We're waiting for the economy and everyone to kind of wake up to what Ripple and XRP community can really do. I see XRP being like the oil. It's gonna power the economy financially. So I'm not frustrated because of where I stand financially in XRP. I'm more frustrated of how much time I've had my money inside of Ripple. I mean XRP. I'm gonna be using that interchangeably, but I'm just more frustrated about the time, because time is money, and I could have been using that to trade in different other assets, which could have made me more money to invest back into XRP. I'm gonna endure the frustration way more longer. Reason I'm gonna endure the frustration is because I believe in the asset. I believe in cryptocurrency as a whole. I believe in blockchain. I believe in everything related to digital finance and fintech. So patience for me is going to be key, and I'm going to be rewarded when that time comes. So I got into options from a friend of mine. He was doing really well in option trading, and I had asked him, because we always share information amongst each other. We're buddies that way, and he was telling me that there could be an opportunity that you don't have to endure all the risk of owning a stock. You can actually own the stock, and it can be underlying. So an example, you can have the right to hold 100 shares of a company without actually owning it. So when I heard that, I'm like, what do you mean I could hold stock without actually having the stock and having that risk of it going up and down? And then he showed me about options, and then I started doing my research, and then that's what got me into options. My best options trade was on Glue Mobile. I had bought Glue Mobile in the money, a $9 call, Glue Mobile in the money, and I bought about 5 buys of it. So when you buy an option in the money and you buy 5, that's 5 contracts giving you 100 shares. So you pretty much own 500 shares of the underlying asset. It sounds difficult, but it's a really simple concept once you start to look up what options are. That was one of my most best trades in options. And when Glue Mobile went to $11.50, I made like $700 within the first I want to say hour. So making $700 in an hour betting on that Glue Mobile was going to go up in price, which is you want to buy a call, which one of the best trades I've made. And I was like, wow, like 700 in a couple hours. Glue Mobile was a stock that I already was buying. So it was already a stock that I was long term. I just didn't know that there was a way that you can own it without actually owning it. So I've already had an idea that Glue Mobile was going to do really well, being that they had contracts with a lot of celebrities. They're like a gaming publishing company that essentially had deals with celebrities and create gaming content around them. So once I seen that they were doing deals and they were doing really well, and their stock price took a hit, I'm like, they're gonna go up in price, so I bought the stock. But little to my surprise, I didn't know that, you know, you can trade an option on it and then make more money than you have just buying the actual shares of it. So that's what made me get into options, and from there it was like water. Whew. The worst option trade I've made was the worst options contract that I've made, or options trade that I've made, was Ideanomics. It was a company that I felt had so much potential. They were a software company that had something. I guess I didn't understand it as much as I thought I understood it, hence why it was so much of a bad trade. But I lost about 30% of my money in that option, and it kind of wiped out. It didn't wipe out my whole portfolio, but it took a huge. I took a huge loss, and it was a large percentage of my portfolio. And me thinking that the company was going to do really well, they had gotten some bad news. The company said that it was because there was a short sale of these firms. These firms were short selling them, so they was putting out bad news. Hence why my option contract took a hit. But I don't know. I don't really like bad news, so I had to sell it out, and I took that loss. The lessons I'm starting to learn is that you don't really realize your losses until you sell them. But you have to do extensive research on anything you buy, and you know, it's best that you feel comfortable with whatever you're getting, so when you do take a hit, it doesn't affect you as much as it will if you're not really comfortable with owning that asset. I would not advise a beginner to do options trading. Options trading, there's a lot that goes along with it. First, you have to understand how to trade stocks. You want to trade stocks first, initially, before you get into options. You don't wanna just jump into options trading. In fact, there's been news surrounding options trading via Robinhood, where a young dude has committed suicide because he didn't understand the basics of options. So he thought he took a loss when in reality the funds never settled, so it wasn't a loss to begin with. But committing suicide thinking you're gonna see a huge substantial loss is not good in any event. So if you're a beginner, I want to tell you, do all your research, or consult a financial advisor or someone who's an expert in that field. Absolutely, just having all these trades and investing in cryptocurrency, doing options and having stocks, I'm starting to realize that I have to take a more relaxed approach. I have to really understand the market overall, look at all the news that's happening, and then come up with some strategies. Just delving into these assets could be very, very stressful. You could be losing a lot of money. You can even gain, but the losses are always more. And it's best to think about your long-term strategy rather than the short-term. So if you don't mind obliterating that like button, subscribing to my YouTube channel, and turning on post notifications, that'll help with that YouTube algorithm, and I'll gladly appreciate it.